What is scalp micropigmentation, otherwise known as SMP, otherwise also known as a hair tattoo? My name's Will Quay. I'm a clinical trichologist and specialist scalp micropigmentation artist, helping you guys suffering with hair loss. So, what is scalp micropigmentation? You've seen it on someone, or you've loosely heard the term and you're wondering what it is, how it can help you, and what's the process and what it involves. So scalp micropigmentation, it's a non-surgical treatment to replicate natural hair follicles in the areas that you're experiencing hair loss. So let's just talk about typical male pattern, female pattern hair loss. So say with male pattern hair loss, you may be experiencing hair loss on the crown and the temple areas, and you may still have hair around the backs and the sides of your scalp. What we do is implant pigment into the dermal layer of the skin in the areas that you haven't got hair, but we do actually blend into your natural hair follicles, and we try to give you the appearance of hair follicles when it's in particular at a buzz cut level. So shaving your existing native hair down to a buzz cut level, and we'll come in to do the scalp micropigmentation to get your hairline back in and try and match as best we can to your existing hair. You may be asking, is scalp micropigmentation like a medical treatment? Is it a tattoo? Is it the same as a tattoo? Stick around in the video. I'm about to answer all these questions for you. Now, with scalp micropigmentation, we do use tattoo needles. Now, we use specific tattoo needles. Now, let me explain. So, let's say, for example, you was getting a big sleeve, an arm sleeve, something like what I've got there, yeah? Now, depending on what part of the tattoo they're doing, i.e. the outline or shading or dot work, depending on what part of the portrait they're doing, they will use different, or we, tattoo artists, will use different needles to get the desired result. Now, for SMP, we use a needle called a 3RL. Now, that stands for a 3 round liner. Now, what that is, it's 3 tiny needles coupled into one. So imagine like you've got 3 tiny little needles like that, coupled into one, and it creates 1 point. Now, these come in various sizes, usually starting from a 0.17 to a 0.2, 0.25, 0.3, 0.35. Now, me personally, I like to use anywhere between a 0.25 and a 0.3. It's just what my preference is. I'll show you exactly what I mean by the needle I'm talking about. So we use Bishop SMP needles. Again, in my humble opinion, the best needle in the world for this treatment. As you can see, this one here is a 0603 round liner, which stands for, it's a 0.2 of a millimeter. So that is what we're looking at. Now, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up, but can you see that? That's the needle. That's the needle we use. Again, it's gonna give you the best impression because you still wanna see the impressions, but you don't want them too big, but you don't want them too small. Now, the 3 round liner gives you that. So scalp micropigmentation isn't a one size fits all. It used to be years ago, 15, 20 years ago, when people were first experimenting on how to do this treatment. It was pretty much a cookie cutter, everyone gets the same. Now there's a lot of variation when it comes to SMP. Personally, in our clinic here, when I'm doing scalp micropigmentation, there's not one client that's got the same hairline. There will be similar, and you might think they're similar, but everyone is completely bespoke. You know, we go from rounded hairlines to straight hairlines to receded hairlines to soft hairlines to broken hairlines to faded hairlines, all different. Now, again, you're going to research and you're going to find videos on people that have named their hairlines a certain name, which is all good, and it gives you an idea of, you know, what you want. You can say, I want that, but essentially all it is, you know, how soft the hairline's going to be and the shape of it. Now, the best thing for you to do if you're considering using us to help you is just go on our website. We've got loads and loads of case studies on there. See someone that you like the look of, show me, and we'll try and get you as close to that as possible. Again, like I say, everyone's different. If you're culturally a certain way in comparison to someone else that is a polar opposite, and I don't think it's going to be right for you, I'll tell you. We're going to do what you want at the end of the day within reason. I'm not going to do something I don't feel comfortable about, and you're not going to let me do something that you're not comfortable about. So we have to find a happy medium, and that's what we do. Like I say, every treatment is completely bespoke. So scalp micropigmentation is, I would say, for the most part used for people that are suffering with male or female pattern hair loss. It can also be used for guys and girls that are suffering with alopecia. Obviously, male pattern and female pattern hair loss is androgenic alopecia, but when people talk about alopecia, usually they're referring to areata, totalis, or universalis. If we take an example of alopecia totalis, where you've experienced complete hair loss to the top of the scalp, we can then come in, do scalp micropigmentation, so it gives you the appearance of a buzz cut. So it looks like you have hair. It won't give you hair, but it will do a really, really good job of making you look like you've got a hairline. Again, it has really, really good benefits, but it also has its flaws. So there's a few key points to consider when thinking about getting scalp micropigmentation. One is, fear not, it is completely customizable. So once you come in, we'll go over a treatment plan for you, you know, not for that person or that person, specifically for you. So we can really dial in and, you know, get what you want, the desired result you want. But we also got to make sure our expectations are in line, and we'll cover all of this in a consultation. Our consultations are free of charge with no obligation to go ahead. You can either do a video consultation or you can do an in-person consultation and come here to the clinic and we can discuss everything. Another point you may need to consider is that you will almost certainly need a top-up, touch-up, stroke, redarkening session in possibly a year, 2 years, 3 years. Everyone's different again, but there will come a time where you'll need a top-up. Now, when you get your top-up, it's not like doing the whole treatment again. If you've had your treatment here, it's generally a 1-session top-up just to give it that pop again. If you did want work on your hairline, i.e. when you first had it done, you went a little bit reserved because you wasn't sure, and now you know, feeling a little bit braver and you want your hairline dropped, that may take 2 sessions just to get that detail in there properly. But generally speaking, it's a 1-session top up, and it is at such a reduced rate in comparison to when you paid for your original treatment. So it is very cost effective when you think about it over the years. You know, if you're not going to the hairdressers or the barbers and you're literally, you know, just shaving your scalp and then getting your top up every 2, 3, possibly 5 years, whenever it may be, it does work out very, very cost effective. Another key point to mention is that it is invasive, but very lightly invasive. It's not as invasive as getting a hair transplant. Now, I've seen this being done and it can be quite a lot to take. With SMP, it's very, I mean, look, we're in that. It's so chilled out and it's very, very bearable. We've done hundreds of clients and everyone's pain threshold is slightly different, but most people, if 1 was I can't even feel it, and 10 was this is excruciating, get me out of this chair immediately, most people fall anywhere between a 2 to 4. So very bearable, lightly invasive, and you get immediate results. After 1 or 2 sessions, you can see where we're going with it. And with other hair loss solutions, you may not get that for 6, 9, 12 months, but within 5 weeks, you're in a good spot. So now I want to talk to you about the key benefits of getting scalp micropigmentation. These are my points, not of others, but what I think the key benefits are. And number 1, right at the top of the hill, I would say it just gives you a boost of confidence. Now, it sounds really cheesy saying it, and you may have seen videos of other people talking about it, you know, get your confidence back and this and that, and you know, you're like, oh, bore off. But honestly, I can see the difference. Like, so when people walk into the clinic, you know, shoulders are down and a little bit, you know, yeah, you know, because they've been dealing with this and it is a lot to take. I try to see the lighter side of it, or, you know, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but you really do see the person change from the first to the second to the third session. Afterwards, they're like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, what, you want to take some photos of me? Yeah, come on then. And then they're up for the photos, they're up for the videos, and you can really see the change in a person, and that is why I do it, because I really do see the change in you lot when you have this done. So I would say for me, number 1 would be how you feel, because don't get me wrong, we're gonna do the best job for you when it comes to how your SMP looks, but in my opinion, that comes second to how it makes you feel. This makes you feel bloody good. right? If it feels good in there, that's a win. If it looks good, bonus. And no one's really gonna know unless they've done the journey, you know? And then you'll understand and you'll be like, yeah, I see what he's saying now. It really does make you feel good. And if you're walking around with that feeling inside, you know, your life is just going to improve in other aspects. Like, you're just going to be, you know, that unwanted stress that you may have had before of just constantly thinking about it. You know, every hour or so, it might just pop in your head like, oh God, yeah, you know, I'm conscious about that. That just disappears and you just live your life. So number one at the top of the tree would be confidence building for me. Point number two, covering key benefits, is it's very, very low maintenance. Now, you will have to keep shaving your scalp, but in my opinion, it's a small price to pay for what you're gonna get. Now, you just gotta look at it in regards to like, this is what I do now, this is part of my life. It's like brushing your teeth. Now, depending on what shaver you're using, and again, I'll talk about this in another video, but depending on what clipper or shaver you're using, you may have to shave your hair a little bit more, a little bit less than others. Now, assume you're shaving it every day and you're using like a clipper, it takes like 2-3 minutes, you know, and you're done. Like, just keep it shaved and you're good to go. Seamless blend, walk around, love it. But, you know, if you're spending a weekend at home, you're not going anywhere, you're just sitting at home, vegging out, watching films and that, and you don't want to shave your head, don't shave your head. Nothing crazy is going to happen. It's just that if you want to go out and want it to look seamless, then just keep on top of your shaving. It's very low maintenance. Just keep on top of that, moisturising your scalp, maybe exfoliate every now and again, and just use some sort of sun protection when you're in the sun. Enjoy the sun though. It's important to enjoy the sun, but just protect your scalp while you're doing that. So just to point out again, we touched on it briefly earlier in the video, but it is a very affordable solution in comparison to other hair loss solutions. You get immediate results. So again, that is a key benefit that I want to share with you. So now we've talked about key benefits of getting scalp micropigmentation. I now want to briefly discuss some limitations when it comes to scalp micropigmentation, so you can make the best informed decision going forward. Number one, when it comes to limitations, is that it does not grow hair. Now, there's been a very, very small amount of people that it has stimulated hair growth, because it does create blood flow with the hair follicle. So it can stimulate hair growth, but very, very rarely. This is an illusion of your hair follicle. It will not make your hair grow. Another limitation would be the results really do depend on the artist that you choose to get this treatment done with. Now, there's a lot of good artists out there all around the world. We're in the UK, but all around the world there's good artists. Just do your research and make sure the artist that you decide to get this treatment done is the right artist for you, because I have seen some absolutely terrible jobs out there. You don't want to be one of them stats. I have seen some absolutely beautiful jobs out there. Please ensure that you are one of those guys. And lastly, again, we've touched on it previously in the video, but you will need a top up at some point. It's not really a limitation, but it's just to keep your treatment evergreen and to keep it going long term. And that's about it. Any questions, please drop them in the comments below. You can find all of our details on www.scalpnation.co.uk. Any questions you may have about scalp micropigmentation, I would say the best thing to do is jump on the website, book a free consultation. If it wasn't covered in this video or any of the videos you see on our channel, I'll be happy to discuss this with you. No obligations. See you on the next one.